Okay, the question of this week I have for you. What is the future of the home delivery companies?
Ooh, I think it's quite an interesting future. I will tell something more about it in What's Hot.
I'm curious about it. Well, I just actually, I walked out here and there's a paella place opening in our old office.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's paella for delivery. So I think they see the future quite bright, you know?
But do they deliver?
I'm not sure yet. Well, they haven't finished their reform yet. But okay, what happened this week? Last week we talked about China.
Yeah.
And we saw actually at the beginning of the week the market in China, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, recuperating almost 6.5% after they went down almost 30% at the beginning of August. However, yesterday that rise stopped again, and the stocks, the main stocks like Alibaba and JD.com, they went down again 2%. And another news item that I've found, but it's not. I mean, first of all, it's not been a really exciting week, no. I mean, news-wise, we're all waiting. It's now 2:30. We're all waiting for Jackson Hole meeting, 4 o'clock. That's where the big news will come out. But obviously, you want to record this so we have time to prepare for you. But another news item for
What is the Jackson Hole meeting?
The Jackson Hole meeting is a meeting in which the Federal Reserve comes together with some academics on how to approach and how to deal with the current economical situation in the US. So the most important thing which they will come out with today is whether or not they are going to start tapering already by the end of this year. In Spain we have a laboratory, it's called Rovi, it's quite a big company, and they produce the Moderna vaccine mainly for countries outside of the US, and they found out that one of their lots, quite a big lot of vaccines, was being contaminated. So, and that lot was sent to Japan. So for those people that are living in Europe and they had the Moderna jab, don't worry about it because it's all gone to Japan. So apparently they've been able to identify which lots that were, and they've been taking out. So
they were in time.
They were in time.
Oh,
yeah.
That is good.
Anything else? What's hot? What happened? Sorry.
No, yeah, it's hot at the moment, so I think we can make a jump. You talked about China, you talked about the US, but in the UK there are also some problems. Because you can't buy any milkshake anymore with any McDonald's restaurant.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and I saw another news item in the Diario Sur that in Marks and Spencer's in La Cañada here, just around the corner in Marbella, they don't have any food anymore.
No.
They don't buy in food from the UK.
And that's that problem. The Nando's, that's a chicken chain, they closed 500 restaurants this week because what is the problem? They have a lack of truck drivers. And roughly around 20,000 drivers originally from the EU left the UK after the Brexit.
Really?
20,000 drivers.
Christ.
But there are other things that you have in the UK. You have an app on your phone. If you come close to a person that has the COVID vaccine, you get an alarm on your phone. And if you receive that alarm, you need to go in quarantine for 10 days.
Really?
If I give you an example, in the week from 8 and 14 July, 620,000 people across England and Wales received that message. Now the government decided that if you are vaccinated twice and you receive that message, then you don't have to be in quarantine.
Yeah, because it's funny that you say that, because yesterday I read an article about Apple software and Android software, and there was from the US that apparently only 2% of the users are actually using the COVID tracking facilities. So 2% and then 1.9% and 90%. I don't pin me down.
But if you get this message and you don't go in quarantine, in the UK the fines are between 1,000 and 10,000 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
So that's why there are no truck drivers. So you can't drink any milkshake more for the moment in the UK.
I don't think it's really bad for the UK people.
No, because milkshakes are not healthy.
Are not healthy.
No. If you drink one milkshake a week, I don't know. But do you see that
if
already?
you're addicted to milkshakes, then you
have a problem. Yeah. But you don't solve the problem, so it's temporarily solved.
Exactly.
Is it already affecting the economy? yes, it is. If you look at the Purchasing Manager Index for both the manufacturing and the servicing, they already dropped last month, and this month they also are lower. They are still above the 50, what you explained last week. Above 50 is growth, so it's still growing, but it's less. The growth is much less than the previous month. So probably, and we don't talk about the supply chain about chips. This is the food supply chain. So there is probably something in on. What is the solution? That's what you asked me in the beginning. And what's the future of
what is the solution? Yeah.
I found a very interesting article. I don't know the name. I'm going to say the name.
The source.
Do you know the company Wing?
Chicken wing.
No. Wing.
Wing?
Yeah, Wing.
Wing?
Yeah. W?
No, I don't know. It's
Right. Beautiful company. What do? They deliver through drones food to your home.
Wow.
In the article, it's quite an interesting article. It's Logan, that's a city in Australia with around 300,000 inhabitants. And they delivered in the first week of August around 4,500 deliveries from their place to the homes.
Wow.
What
with
do
those drones?
Yeah, with those drones. And what do? You place, for example, they in total they deliver 10,000 coffees and 1,700 snack packs. And what do? So you have an app. You ask for the coffee, and then they on an average day they make 15 million simulations. What is the best route? Which drone has to take it?
Wow.
They analyze the wind.
And they fly pretty low, I suppose.
Yeah. And they deliver it. And I didn't see anything about the price, so of course it must be more expensive than normal coffee. But it's quite a few, especially for cities where they say around under the 500,000. But there are quite a lot of cities under the 500,000. But this is not the future anymore. You asked me what's the future, but it's already happening.
This is already happening.
And of course, if you are in really crowded places, then it's not working. But if you are in cities that are a little bit widespread,
rural areas,
and with homes and a little bit closer. What I looked up, what is the price of such a drone? Because I was thinking that's an interesting drone. It is, and they calculated on how much can it carry.
Oh yeah.
And for example, 3.5 kilo, it's $55,000. And
but how is the control work then?
It's all automated.
Automated.
Yeah, all automated.
Yes.
Yeah. So they make the calculation. The 50 on an average, during the times that they deliver, they make 50 million calculations.
Wow.
And then it goes automatically. You must look it up. Wing. The company is Wing. And for example, if you have a drone that can carry 25 kilo, that costs $250,000. So it's quite an investment.
That will go down.
Of course. So I think the conclusion is already where does the mind go? Deliver not only food but also other products, of course, through drones. The company Wing, to close off, is owned by Alphabet. Google.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
So that's back to investing. So I didn't know that they had that investment.
No.
Quite interesting, I think.
Absolutely.
For the Google investors.
It's like Back to the Future, but we are there now. We are here. Yeah. No, really interesting. Really interesting.
So I think the thing, what's next, that's what you said this afternoon, Friday, and if you see the video on Saturday, then it was.
Exactly.
You already know.
Yeah, true.
You go on holiday next week?
I go on holiday next week, yeah. I'm going to Sardine. Actually, I have one more item.
Okay.
And I want to bring it in. It's quite important. We talked about bringing in sustainable news, etc. And one of the most important things is electrical vehicles, of course. And what is needed for that is
electrical drones.
Electrical drones, of course. But what we need for that is lithium. Also for the drones, you need a battery. And what is now, of course, we see a very unfortunate situation in Afghanistan. But what is the case is actually the main lithium source is now Bolivia, but the second largest lithium source in the world is Afghanistan. And not only Afghanistan, also the copper reserves and the other rare earth metals needed for the supply that is the demand that is on its way to build all these electrical cars. We don't have sufficient if we can't reach a deal with those Talibans, and that is obviously quite a scary subject here. And I mean, why has this never been taken out over the last 20 years? Well, just because the fact that the country doesn't function properly, a lot of the lack of infrastructure, a lot of drought, it's very dry, so you can't get it out. And just for also for your understanding, if you find a mine, it takes 16 years from finding the mine to get the first lithium out. So if we would have found a lithium mine in 2004, you would be able to take the stuff out now. So that's one of the main reasons. Of course, the population also is not educated. People there's a poverty level of $2 a day, and 90% of all the people live below that poverty level.
True.
So it's
only getting worse.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah,
and what is an interesting, and we're going to talk about this for hours, of course, and I recommend you to watch for that on CNN and all those sorts of channels, because they talk about it a lot. But private investors obviously will not take the risk now to go in and get that lithium. And who is on the front door knocking at the Taliban, which is China. And China is making already arrangements apparently with, they maintain contact with the Taliban, and it's interesting to see what will happen there. But they have a really bad reputation.
Sad and interesting.
I mean, interesting in the negative sense of the word, because they have a really bad reputation also when it comes down to sustainable mining of these sources. Chinese, I mean, so and that if they will do it, obviously who will be affected most by it is these people that already don't have anything. So I want to round off with that. So interesting movement there. We all talk about sustainable, we all talk about more electrical vehicles, but there's something needed for that. One normal car, you need 6 times more minerals to build an electrical car. And if we don't have the stuff to make it, well, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting times. Thank you for watching. Give us a thumb, and hope to see you next week. And have a great holiday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.